and I'm looking for the link. So I am live right now on YouTube, getting the link for everybody. I'm looking for the link. You can hear me talking. I have the link, and I'm sending it out to my friends who, if they could send it out to everybody else. There's the link. Boom. Okay, so hello, if you're joining us from YouTube, and I'm Jelena from More Cake, yes ma'am, Badass Edible Art, and I have I have Periscope, say hi to YouTube, say hi to Periscope. Hi Lila, I see people I know coming in. So basically what's happening today is I'm going to make a Star Wars BB8 cake topper. And for those of you who don't know who that little creature is, I'm sure you do. He's very famous. He's that little round kind of ball sphere guy. And then he has like this top to him. You know, I know that's a very great description that I'm giving you guys. Periscope, I'm sorry, I got my head cut off, but I'm still gorgeous from, you know, the waist down if you want to watch that. Also share with your friends. I'd love for you guys to share. YouTubers, if you want to send this out to all your friends, the link, I'd love for that to happen. And I love feedback, so please give me feedback. Periscope, if I miss a question, don't worry, I'll look over every so often. Thanks, guys. Thanks for sharing with your friends. I'll look over every so often and try to get you guys questions answered. So let's get started. I miss you guys, Chloe. Oh, I'm so sorry. Anyway, sorry, focused. So let me go over the tools that I have, just in case you want to make one for yourself. I'm making a BB8 cake topper. It's going to be made out of styrofoam and fondant, for the simple fact that, one, I have to ship this. Oh, and if you don't know, when you're just joining us for the first time, this is Chocolate Cake, and we call him Cake, my dog. He'll probably be walking back and forth every so often. If you, so if you guys wanted to create it, I'm making it out of styrofoam and fondant. Fondant is edible, but unfortunately this topper won't be ate. Because I'm pretty sure that the customer wants to keep it for a while. You could make it out of fondant and the customer still could keep it because it'll dry hard. But just for shipping purposes and because I'm making it so big, I started to do styrofoam because it'll be a lot more lighter than fondant. All right, so this size styrofoam ball is a 5-inch, and I got this from Michael's. I got all the styrofoam from Michael's. So this is a 5-inch, this is a 4-inch, and then I have a little one, right, that I cut in half, and that size is 1.5 inches. And you can get these from Michael's also, and I think Hobby Lobby has this brand. And so what I did was I colored all the fondant I needed except for one color, which we'll do here, 2 colors actually, which we'll do here live. Because sometimes if you're new to cake decorating, you need to know how to knead fondant or how to color fondant. So I'm going to go over that with you too. And I cut the styrofoam. Some of the styrofoam already is cut. And what I use to cut it is, some people use like a bread knife. I went and got this foam cutter, which is a Floor Craft is the brand. I got that from Hobby Lobby for like, I think $6, $7, right? You guys see that? And it helps you cut all the styrofoam you need. But again, like I said, some people just use bread knives. I'm also going to use these here for the base of my BB8 because he sits, I guess there's some type of toy that's out there that he sits on, or like a charger. So I have this flat foam piece rounded, and it is 1 3/16 inches and 5, 7, almost 6 inches round. That's basically what it is. And then I have 2 6-inch rounds of the cake boards, and that's just to give this a little more height. So let's get started. So I already colored all my fondant except for the orange and except for the green, and I'm going to do that now. He is basically all white with orange all around him, little orange details around him, as well as like a black eye and like a little mini black eye. And then he also has silver around him too. So I'm going to make sure I have enough fondant, which is Wilton fondant, Wilton ready to use fondant. You can get at Michael's, Walmart, bring a coupon. I think I need a little more than this. Okay. Yeah, this should be good. Let's do a little more, just in case. Yeah, that should be good. So I'm gonna color this orange. And what I'm using to color my fondant is, for the black, I used Americolor black, actually super black. Americolor super black. Hey, Candy. Hi. And then for the red, oh, black. And for the red, I used Americolor super red. Americolor super red, right? For the green, which I have to color just a little bit, is Forest Green Americolor. And I do this just because some people like to ask what colors you use. And this is the Wilton orange, which when I was starting out doing cakes, they didn't have orange. You had to take yellow and red and make your own orange. So I'm going to make orange. Oh, and then I made some gray for the silver part, but we're not going to keep it gray. We're gonna dust over it with some luster dust. So what I do, black all over the place. Okay, there we go. So what I'm gonna do is put a little bit of orange in my fondant. And I'm just using a butter knife for that. Some people use toothpicks, but toothpicks don't give me the amount I want. It's too little. And for kneading, the way you knead is use the back of your palm, right? And you use your other hand. So one hand to control your fondant, the other one to actually do the kneading of the fondant. Kneading is just pressing in on your dough or your fondant or whatever you're making that has a dough consistency. Okay, so I'm gonna press down and I'm gonna keep using this hand to control it the way that I want it to go. So I want it to flip around. I wanna move this around and always keep it moving. Down, flipping, down, flipping. Some people pull like taffy. That takes too long for me. I've only ever done it this way. I can tell right now I'm not gonna get that deep orange. I got like a creamsicle orange, which is a really nice color, but not the one I want. I need it to get a little more darker than this. That's the reason for the butter knife, because toothpicks, you'll get like this little bit of color. It doesn't help out. Again, using the back of your hand, palm, kneading in, using the other hand to flip or turn it in your fondant. When you're coloring things a certain color, you always want to be careful with how much color you do put in it though. We are looking for a deep orange, so I'm not too worried about how much orange I put in here. But you do want to be careful only because when fondant sits, it starts dark. The color starts to darken up inside of it. So that's another note. So when you color your fondant and then just right away put it on your cake, note that it may darken. I think that's pretty good. That look orange enough to you guys? Orange? Good. So I'm going to put this to the side. I'm going to have to keep referring back to the image as well. So when you guys see me like clicking away on the computer, that's what I'm doing. So now I just need a little green. He has like these little red and green buttons. There we go. Some green. And I'll just do this with my fingers. I had to pre-color all the black, or we'd be sitting here forever. Okay, I'm gonna let that sit for a little bit and then I'm gonna knead it again, just so I can get the color incorporated. The best thing about this is I brought water to wipe my hands off. All right, so like I said, I pre-cut all my circles. And for that black eye that he has on his face, I'm using the small ball that I just cut in half, right? So I'm gonna use one side of this. I'm actually going to, no, I'm not gonna do that yet. And then I use the medium-sized ball and I cut this much off of it, right? And then his regular self, body, I guess. This way. We're going to use hot glue to attach everything, but first we're going to cover these with fondant, and then we're going to hot glue it all together, and then we're going to add all the details to it. And the way we're attaching is we're going to use vegetable shortening and rub it all around the styrofoam ball. Now, let me keep this because somebody might ask what size the ball is. Right? So we're looking for that. That's his shape. You guys see who we're making now? That's basically his shape, right? Okay. Get some vegetable shortening. I'm gonna move all of this fuzz out the way. Okay. Because I want him to stand up on his own, I'm going to just cut a little bit of him down here. So when I put him down, I can just have him stay. Just a little flattening. There we go. Boom. Voila. Yes. Can I get some love for cutting styrofoam, please? Thank you, Periscope. Alrighty. It's important you get all this little fuzz away because that will get in your fondant. And then you get little specks in your fondant and you can't, it's really hard to get out. Okay. So now I'm going to put some vegetable shortening all around this and cover it in white. And I'm just going to use a napkin to dab in it. And this one, because this is the type of styrofoam that you can just indent with your fingers, right? I might do 2 layers of white. We'll see how the smoothness is because I want them to be really smooth. And if you have questions about my vegetable shortening, I don't use this for cooking. I only use it for projects like this. Just so you guys don't think that I'm double dipping in the barrel. Make sure I hit all the right spots with the vegetable shortening. You can also use corn syrup, but corn syrup's a little sticky, so I'm not going to use that. And I just want to get all, I'm not hitting every spot, but I'm getting most of it just so I can make sure it attaches at the top, at the bottom. Okay, that should be good. You roll out some fondant. Push this little guy to the side. Okay. Hands off. I'm using a rolling pin. You can find that rolling pin at Michael's. You can find it at Walmart. Pretty much anywhere. Trying to eyeball how much white I'll need. You always want to get more because the last thing you want to do is take your time and use all your energy to roll out the fondant and then you don't have enough. Before you roll out your fondant, it doesn't matter what color, how much of it, always knead it beforehand. That way you can make sure it's nice and pliable because fondant does stiffen up. Don't go nowhere. I got my water about to spill on you. There we go. And when I roll out my fondant, I always keep my fondant moving because I don't want it to stick in one spot. And usually when you roll on the top, if you flip it over, you'll notice the bottom part is usually more shiny. And I like both of them to be the same texture. Both of them meaning both sides. I don't want to do this too thick and I don't want to do it too thin. Thick enough to make sure it's smooth. Thin enough so I'm not using unnecessary fondant. Okay, I think one good roll would work. Perfect. I think that's pretty good. Yeah? All right, so I'm gonna go and put this on top of my dome. BB8's body. Just making sure he's gonna cover. There we go. Working quickly. Even if you're covering a cake, always smooth the top first. You don't want the air bubbles to come, because if you start on the sides and let your cake sit, air bubbles will start coming up to the top of your cake. And this is basically the same way you would cover a cake. Smooth out the top and just work quickly around the sides. And you pull your fondant out and tuck it in, because this happens, this little, can you guys see that? This little tuck right here happens here. You guys see that this happens, right? We don't want that, so you pull your fondant back out. Let me close the blinds a little bit, so maybe Periscope can kind of see what I'm doing. There we go. You want to work quickly, but you don't want to rush too much where you get frustrated if it's not working out. If it's not working out, just relax. You can always go buy a new styrofoam ball. You can always restart this. You may not want to, but you can. Okay, I think gotten down. Just like a cake, you always want to go around. So I started from the top, I worked my way around the top base, and then I worked my way to the middle, and then down. Don't be all over the place. Get one part done at a time. I'm gonna cut some of this off. Just so I can get around this. Not too much. Okay. I'm looking for it to be smooth, so fingers crossed. I always say it, we're live. Can't do anything about it once I go because I don't have another ball. Okay, let me turn this so you guys can see the back. Try to think where my pizza cutter is. Making sure that I got all of this down here. Let me run and get my pizza cutter, don't go anywhere. I got it. I have it, it's right here. Just gonna cut some of this off, and then I'm gonna use the X-Acto knife to get closer. Nothing is more nerve-wracking than to have like people watching you do something, and then it's like, oh, don't screw up. All right, good. So all of this, I'm going to just try to stretch it so that I can just cut it off. I got a little bit messed up here, but hopefully I can hide that with something. Unfortunately, it's not a cake, so I can't hide it with like a bow, as us cakers do. I think that looks pretty good. What do you guys think on Periscope? This look okay? Let me know. I think it looks pretty good. Good. Thank you, Periscopers. Just looking at the screen. Okay. I think it looks pretty good. Now we have to do the other one. But the other one isn't as big as this one. I think I stuck my finger on that. Okay, so now I have to do this one. Yes, this is styrofoam. Because I have to ship this, and this is going to be a cake topper, it would be cheaper to do styrofoam because it wouldn't be so heavy. And then also, because it would be easier. So I don't have to wait for it to dry too long. Okay, so I have my white fondant. I'm gonna roll this out. I'm gonna add the, what are we adding? Vegetable shortening to that half. Okay, I think that's pretty good. Yeah, that's pretty good. Move this over to the side and get a napkin to add some vegetable shortening. Maybe this will work if I add the vegetable shortening to the fondant. So let's try it that way. Maybe I won't get so much styrofoam everywhere. And adding vegetable shortening to fondant is fine because you want to use that anyways when you're kneading sometimes because it acts as a lotion. So if you're getting like elephant skin of any kind on your fondant, you can use vegetable shortening. Don't use water. It'll dry it out. Learn that the hard way. Okay. Same thing, start from the top, working my way down. And I'm not going to cut on the edge of this. I'm going to cut a little bit away from the edge. So I'm going to fold this over. Let me plug in my hot glue gun. Because remember, I'm going to use the glue gun to attach everything. I'm going to attach styrofoam to styrofoam, which means this part here, I'm going to cut off a little piece just so I can get back to the styrofoam. Rubbing it, loving it, caressing it, cleaning it up. This probably would help if I maybe pulled out my smoother. Cleaning it up. Coming back to the bottom, cleaning up that mess on the bottom that nobody will see but us. Okay, and then we're going to do a little test run. So I want to choose the front of my ball. What do I like the most? I think I like this side the most, which is this side. And then what do I like the most on here? Where's the smooth? So yeah, so that's what the little tip. Basically, what we're looking for. See that? Oh, no, I don't want that to be the front. That's the front right there for you guys. I'm gonna get a good side. There we go. You guys see that on Periscope? See that? So that's the front that we're gonna do. So I'm just gonna pull off a little bit of this fondant just so I can glue it together. These are circles we're going to use. There's circles and there's scalloped on both sides. You can get these at Walmart. I think it's like $4 or something. Just going to cut out a little circle. I'm feeling it to see if there's any little specks in it. And we do have specks, so I'm going to throw that away because I'm not going to be able to use that. Move this out the way. Move this out the way. I'm going to let my glue gun heat up, and we're going to cut our circles, our orange circles that we need. Get all this out the way. Make sure we don't have any fuzzy stuff. Gotta figure out what size circle I'm going to use. So we're making a BB8 in 2 ways. We're making him stand on his own, and then we're going to have his base. So my customer will have the option to use the BB8 or the BB8 with its stand, which I think is a pretty cool thing to have, and she can decide. Just kneading this back together so I can put it back in my plastic bag. And taking out my orange. I'm gonna roll this out. Now let me refer to the photos. How many of these orange circles does BB8 have? And it looks like 1, 2, 3, 4, possible 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, possible 5 of these. 1, 2, 3, 4. Probably 4 only. It looks like it only has 4 sides. Does anybody know in Periscope? It looks like 4. My scopes are freezing. I'll catch up. Okay, no problem. Bye. We're going to do 4 because I think it's 4 for each corner. 1 here, 1 in the back, 1 on the side, and 1 in the front. So that's what we're working with. You see this? You see how orange it got now? That's what I was talking about. When you color your fondant, it will sit and get darker. So make sure the amount you're putting in is the amount you're going to want once it's dry or incorporated all the way and set. Okay, that's pretty good. Okay. So I'm going to cut these out, but I'm not going to attach them right away because I need them to dry out just a little bit. Get this off. Just so I can handle them because I don't want them to be sticky and too floppy. And letting them sit for a little bit helps out, right? Okay, so circles. What circles should I use? This thing comes with 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. It comes with 6 circles and 6 scallops. Isn't that great? So I think I'm going to need, I'm just measuring what sides look best with this. 1, 2, 3. I think this orange side looks pretty darn good. Yeah, I think I like the orange one. So we're gonna go with that. Oh, I'm gonna need the green anyways. Cut out 4, right? Nope. Oh no, I think I need the blue. Nope. The red? Yes, I think the red. Because let me try the little green. See what that looks like. I think the little green may be too little. So we're going to do the red. Hopefully I got this centered. Looks a little centered. Going for it. Right? Do it again. 3 more times. Going for it. My goal is not to make them look identical because you can't make things look identical. Just make it look similar. And the last one, Okay, so I got those cut out. And I'm going to try to keep this as flat as possible because I'm going to need some of this fondant. Be gentle because I don't want to mess up the integrity of the circle, which looks like that's what's happening. Now, mind you, to anybody who's watching, this is my first time making a BB8. I've made many Star Wars figurines before, but never BB8. So this is a first for you, and it's a first for me. All right, so in these orange circles, he has like these rectangle shapes, which I'm just going to use my X-Acto knife. There's 4. So we got 4 times 4, 16. Just going to make long, straight lines, and then I'll cut out the rectangles once I insert them on top of BB8 himself. No, 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 no. We're going to use the ruler. I don't like how that's turning out. Make sure everything's nice and even. Nice and even. I'll do 3 of these because I think that's, yeah, I think 3 is pretty good. But I'm still going to keep some of this fondant flat because he still has pieces like on his head, all around. And my goal is to get the pieces that stand out the most. I'm not going to do every single detail. But these are major details. Separated, I'm going to let that sit for a little bit. Let that sit for a little bit before I start messing with it. I'm going to turn my circles around because I want air to hit both sides of it so it can stay nice and stiff as I add it to these. What else are we going to need? Pre-cut all your stuff beforehand. It helps. He has a line around his head, which I'll use these, and then he needs some more strips, what it seems like. Thank goodness I had the ruler by hand, on hand, because these things would have came out all lopsided. Okay, so we're going to work with that we have. We'll cut some more just in case. You never know what may happen to some of them. Fall. Run out. Okay, I think that's good enough for the details that I'm seeing. Alrighty, so let me get this out of here. Keep these 2 orange pieces to the side and go ahead and start adding these circles. Okay, and gluing this on. Let me see if the glue gun's hot enough. Hot, very hot, yes. Okay. I'm going to fill this hole up. So when I put it on, it'll be nice and even. There we go. Which way did we say was the front? Guess I should have figured that out before I put the glue on. Okay, so this side, and then we'll turn this side. There we go. Apply some pressure. This is the front. There. How's that look? Good? Good enough? Cleaning up some of these things on him, but I do not like some unsmooth areas. Okay, I think that's pretty good. I think I need to mark his front because this is going to drive me insane. Okay. Yeah, we're going to use this as his front. So I'm going to mark a little mark under him so I can know where the front is, right? Okay. Let's start attaching his circles now. So there is, let me move this over to the side. All right. I'll put some water. And I'm just using water for glue. I'm going to add some water. Basically, it just looks like he rolls on this thing. So I'm just going to add them where I see fit. Use this to make sure he stays nice and round. Here, I'll turn it so you can see what I'm doing. Make sure he stays round for these pieces and it keeps its shape. Oh, that looks good. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Let me look at it. Okay. Add the other ones. Put water, 2 of them. Okay. Now this is his front. I'm going to put one down here. One down here. Because he rolls around, so they always end up in different locations. You know, it's quiet because I'm trying to concentrate. There we go. Let me look at him. Use my orange circle. Make sure it keeps its shape. All right. I got some orange on here because I picked it up and moved it. And I'm just going to use a damp rag, paper towel to wipe it off. Very gently. Okay, leave that to dry. All right, so that's his front. So he has one here, one here. I'll put one in the back and one on this side. Just adding it the same way I added the other ones. That one went on pretty well. And the last one, let me tell you, this little guy has so many details on him. And the last one, there we go. Use the circle to bring it back in. And then we'll look at them to see how satisfied I am with the placement. Looks pretty good. Looks pretty good. You guys see what character I'm doing now? Doesn't he look cute already? He's not even done. Nothing has even happened on him. He's got some skin, some side details. That's just about it. And he already looks adorable. I'm already excited. Like I get really excited when I'm creating something and it's turning out the way that I want it to turn out. I'm getting excited. All right. Let's see, what else am I gonna put on him? Okay, so the strips that I cut, right? He has these, I think I'm gonna use the smaller strips I cut. He has these like square rectangle thingies in there. So I'm just going to use my water. A little bit of water goes a long way. You don't want to douse it in water. What's great about this? Which side did I use? Was the red? Yeah, I think it was the red. Make sure that this equals matches up. Okay, good. I make sure I was working with a good circle. So I'm going to put a little bit of water in 4 sides. So top, bottom, and side to side. Top, bottom, side, side. And then I'm going to use my handy dandy X-Acto knife. That's, there we go. So the top line is unbelievable. There we go. So you see what I'm doing? That's one. I'm gonna see if I can do it this way. If not, I might have to turn it around. I want to make sure that he's not looking redonkulous. 2. Good. He's already looking cute. I'm so ridiculous. Okay. And bottom. Boom. Y'all see that? Boom. And that's how it gets done. Bam. This is all funded. That's okay. Well, I'm not gonna worry about that too much. All right, so I'm gonna do the rest of these. I'm gonna try to move as quickly as possible because I really don't want to spend like hours upon hours making this. Time is money, right? And it goes even longer when I am going live because I stop to like go into further details. I want to make sure I'm teaching good, but going quickly. I'm just using some Wilton tools to straighten up some of these edges. Okay. Third one. There we go. Has anybody ever made a BB8 before? Am I late in the game? I feel like I am because, you know, this new Star Wars came out, I don't know, what, like a month ago? And when you are doing something a month later, I feel like you're late in the game. Especially with something so famous as Star Wars. You're not going to believe what I just did. Oh, I ruined the back of it probably with my hand. How's that? That looks pretty good. Pretty good, pretty good. All right, so I definitely ruined the back of this with my hand. Let me see if I can fix it. Smooth this out a little bit. There we go. Just trying to clean that up. Use the paintbrush to clean this up. Smooth some of this orange. Get that away. I dare not even show you what happened. I moved the orange. It made a little bit of a boo-boo on him. Okay, and make sure I get a nice good circle. There, that's good. There, look, you can't even tell now. Can you? Nope. Perfect. Oh no, I like this one better. And my water for the last one. Hi, she bakes me a cake. Talking Periscope. Sometimes you gotta pay them attention. If you don't, they'll leave you. I'm talking to, hi, I'm here live on YouTube and live on Periscope for those of you who aren't following me on YouTube. Thank you. Which you should follow me on YouTube. There we go. How's that? Perfect? Good. And clean up all the scraps. All right, what else is orange on this little guy? All right, so we're not gonna move to the head yet, but the body is pretty good. Okay, okay. All right, so I don't need this. I'm just filling them out because I don't wanna have to roll out any more orange. Okay, so we'll leave these to the side. We definitely will need these for his head. And I'll keep these two flat circle orange pieces just in case I mess anything up. And now we're gonna put the gray inside of him, right? There's these gray little, like robot things, you know? Gray silver, we're gonna paint it silver. But we're gonna use gray first, because if you use white and then paint over it with the silver luster dust, it won't come out as good. So we're gonna go with gray first. And something we did not do with the orange is put Tylose. Tylose is just a stiffening powder. It's edible. You put some in your fondant and the fondant will harden faster. You just knead it in there. If you're just joining us, I'm Jelena. I am live on YouTube and on Periscope. And Periscope, you're kind of getting like the back end of it because the front row seat goes to the YouTubers. And what we're making is the Star Wars famous BB8 character. I've never made him before. This is my first time. It's a cake topper for a cake that I have to ship. Not the cake, the topper I have to ship. All right. Roll that out good enough. See something happening like here. Oh, I see what's happening. Just stay up. Some of the fondant is falling down, and I'm trying to make sure it doesn't. Okay. This bottom part will clean up when we get to the bottom. So we're gonna use, in the middle, they're like little round circles, which I think can be this, but then I wanna use different circles. Do I have different circles? Most likely not. I'm gonna use whatever we have. A little container. No, that's like the same size. Oh, here we go. Circles. Haha. See, I can prepare it. Circle. That's too small. But this one's just about right. So we're gonna go with this one, the little tiny orange one. And I'm gonna cut out 4 of them. I can only see 3 of his little thingies. So I'm kind of guessing what the 4th one will look like. We're just going to guesstimate. So this one is in 1, 2, 3, 4 slits on it. 1, 2, 3 slits in it. Get some water. And I'll add this to his, I'll do it to the front. Just adding some water in the center of the orange. Hard to kind of do this backwards for everybody to see, right? And then he has, it's like turned like this. I want it to look as close as possible to what I'm doing. So I cut out the circle. I made 3 slits in it. And now I'm just adding it to him. And hopefully we can get the last little slit in there. Using the Wilton tool again. One of the tools, I don't know, it has a number 7 on it. I don't know what this was called. It's kind of like a serrated knife, a little bit of plastic. And help me clean that up. Right? I'm gonna have to clean that up when I add the next one. Add this one to the bottom. Sorry guys, sometimes I gotta see what I'm doing. Stay nice and clean. Don't cut this little piece off. Add a little bit of water. And then add this one. Make sure to keep it as a circle. Cool. Yes. Okay. So he has something that looks like that, right? Can you guys see that? You see that? Yeah, something that looks like that. And then it kind of veers off in this wonky little shape. All right, so I'm gonna cut this first and then show you guys the shape. So it's a shape like this. You see that? That's the shape I'm going for here. Some water, and it's added to the bottom. You cut some more off. Using a circle to keep the roundness on it. Perfect. Perfect, perfect, perfect. So we have that, right? This is what he looks like, guys. And then there's a shape where it's rounded on the top and rounded on the bottom. I hope this fits. So yeah, so it's like this. Round on top, round on bottom, straight sides. If you guys are just joining us on Periscope, invite your followers. I'm live on YouTube. Sorry, I'm looking at the picture. Live on YouTube, and we are making a BB8 topper. Thanks for inviting followers. BB8 topper made out of styrofoam and fondant. There we go. Look at that. So we got one side of him just about done. And now let me see what I can see on the other sides. So I gotta look at like all these pictures. One of them looks like a wedding ring. Okay, so it's a circle. Circle we already did, right? And then it's a hole inside that circle, right? Good, good. I'm gonna do the hole on the actual BB8. That way I can keep it stay in shape. So I'm putting water around the edges, not in the center of this gray circle. I'm gonna add it to the center of one of his orange pieces. Right? And then I'm gonna use the smaller circle to cut the center out. Yeah, that looks pretty good. Carefully moving it back and forth, and then using my X-Acto knife to pull it out. There we go. I'm becoming a pro at this. I'm becoming a pro at this. You guys have to do like a little happy dance. You understand, when you make something from nothing, it feels good. All right, so now the diamond shape, which is kind of like one of the shapes we made in here already. Top, sides, sides. So this is the shape I'm looking for. See that? It's just kind of like the first shape I made. Add some water. And I guess it doesn't really matter where this part goes. Hopefully this fits. There we go. I'm going to spread it out a little bit. And I'm going to use a tool to clean it up. Okay. So that's what that one looks like. 2 more to go. Okay, so the other one is, I don't really know what that is. So I'm just going to put in what I think it is. That's what I'm going to do. Because I can't tell. I'm going to use a full circle, gray circle, put them in the middle of the orange, and then make that diamond shaped, diamond ring shape that I was just showing you guys all over again. Cutting out the circle because it's a rounded top, straighten the sides, right? So it starts off like this. It starts off like this, and then I use the circle to get the rounded on the bottom, right? Add some water. I'm gonna do this one twice on here. Add there, and then let me do it again, and I'll show you guys what I did. Thank you guys for sticking with me through this process. It is a long process to create this guy, but hopefully we can get it finished in the next, I don't know. I'm not even gonna give you a time because I don't want you guys hoping that that time is gonna work for you. So I say nothing. So I did another one, adding it. There we go. So this is the third side I did. See that? The third side. Thanks guys here on Periscope for staying with me as I put this dude together. All right, now the fourth side is actually a guessing game. So we're gonna go with, let me brighten up this room a little bit. We're gonna go with a circle and a couple of holes in it. That's what we're gonna do. I'm just getting a circle and a piping tip and getting like 3 circles in this, cutting out 3 circles in it. Just a guessing game now, because I looked for pictures, but they all look pretty much the same. You don't really see the 4th circle. And then, so I put that in, and then I'll just add a little gray button in there. And then I'll do another gray button. Yeah, what the hell? I'll do 3 gray buttons. There we go. Voila. So that's what it looks like. That's what I did to the third side, right? Okay, so what else? So then he has all these little lines, and I have I got a smaller piping tip here. These piping tips are Wilton 10 and a Wilton 12 round piping tips that I was using. Again, I was using these circle cutters that you get from Walmart that come in a pack. They're in the Wilton aisle, the Wilton baking aisle, and I'm also using a circle cutter that I've had for forever, so I don't know why I got that. I'm trying to see on the body if there's any more gray parts, which there's not. There's just like a lot of lines and indentions that I'm going to make using a tool. So I'm not going to roll this up because I'm going to need it for his top. So we're going to go ahead and put the pieces on his top part. I need to pick where his eyeball is going to be. Where's the front? This is the front. His eyeball is this, the little styrofoam that I cut, right? This little styrofoam I cut. And I'm going to put some vegetable shortening on it and cover it in black. And then what we're going to do is, because the black on his eyeball is like super shiny, so we're going to use something to make it shiny, and it'll dry. And I'm going to glue this with hot glue, so I need to choose where his eyeball is going to go. Here, eyeball's going to go here. But is that big? That's kind of big, right? It's kind of a big eyeball. I don't know if I like that. Yeah, I don't know if I like this. Let's see if I can cut it any more than what it is right now. And let's pray I don't cut my hand. Somebody say a prayer for me, please, and a Hail Mary. I'm just cutting this like I would a cake. Keep your elbow in. That way you can get a nice straight line. This styrofoam is a little more tougher because this is the thick styrofoam. And I'm using my foam cutter floor craft from Hobby Lobby. Okay, there we go. So that's not, okay, that's much better. So he has like 2 eyeballs. He has one up top and then one like in an angle from his face. The one in the angle from the face, I'm just going to use a small ball of fondant. This one's much more bigger and it pops out more, so I'm going to use styrofoam. So let me clean up this styrofoam that's sitting around. We don't want this in our fondant. Last thing you want to do is have a pretty BB8, and then you got fondant all in it. I mean, styrofoam all in his fondant. Just brushing that off. Okay. Roll this out. And I'm using, again, the black fondant. I'm going to put some vegetable shortening on this one. Right. And then I'm just going to cover this. And use my X-Acto knife to cut around it. I made like a lot of black, and I don't even need that much. I guess the more the merrier. Okay. Just trying to get it nice and clean on the sides. All right. Okay, here we go. Put this to the side. I have the front, where his front's going to be. What I need now is I need to glue it. I have the hot glue on. Yes, it's on. It's hot. And I'm just going to cut out a small incision in the front, like if I'm doing surgery. We're going to cut a small incision in the front of his face here. Nope. I'm not going to cut the incision there. Just using vegetable shortening to smooth it. Yeah. Made the incision in the wrong spot. Almost there. Okay. He's like a little more up. So let me look at this. Yeah, this incision is going to be a little more up right here. Okay. Find it out. Add some glue. Making sure I'm adding enough glue. Unplug this for now so I don't burn the house down live on YouTube. And I'm going to tilt this back a little bit because I don't want the glue seeping out. No. Alrighty. Just cleaning up these edges as I'm trying to get him detached. There's like some silver border around it. Apply some pressure. If you guys want to see here, Periscope. Does he look like BB8? Is he looking like BB8? Isn't he cute? Isn't this like a cute little guy? Oh man, I don't even know if I want to send it now. Because he's adorable. Alrighty. And now he needs another little black eye. Move this aside. And I'm just going to use some fun that I have to make it. It's like a smaller. Let's see. It's like right here. Right here. Yeah. Let me add some Tylose to this because I need it to stiffen up. A little bit of Tylose. A little bit more. Right? I'm rolling it in my hand, and this is true to any fondant whenever you're decorating anything. If you want to get all the crinks out, you know when you have your fondant and there's like these crinks in them, right? What you want to do is roll it, no matter what shape you're starting, what shape you need, you roll it into a ball in the palms of your hand like this, and you apply pressure, and it'll make it nice and smooth every time. So now I need a ball. Spear, right? And this bad boy is a little big, so we're going to cut him in half. Okay, that's pretty good. Alrighty, so now let me add some water to where I want this to sit. And actually, I'm going to indent a little bit. I have this ball tool. It's a wilted ball tool. I'm using the bigger side. I'm just going to indent where I want to put them in. So if I want it here, is that where we want it? That's where it's going to be. Okay, there we go. So I'm going to add a little bit of water. And then I'm going to put this there. Now let me look at them. I'm going to give it, push it a little bit. Just kind of stick it out too much. Push in a little bit. There he goes. Now he has a second eyeball. Right? It helps to do what I'm doing, these little touches, because it kind of, you're just paying attention to details. That's what it's all about. If you're new to cake decorating or just new to sculpting, it helps to pay attention to little details. The more little details you add to it, the more it looks like the character, right? I mean, I might not get all of them correctly, but we're pretty much damn near close to it. Now the top, this is the thing. I don't know if the top of his head is white. Yep, I think it's just white and then some silver thingy around it and then an orange liney thing around it. So that's what we're gonna do. We're gonna go with a silver thingy around it. That's too small. Yeah, we're gonna go with this size. I'm gonna add some water to only the sides because I'm gonna cut the middle off because the center of his head, the center top part of his head is white. Make sure that I'm getting this nice. Okay, and then I think there's also silver around. I've seen a lot of things with silver around here, so I'm gonna do that anyways, just in case. But we're gonna cut out the center of his head. Just I'm gonna use this part, this green one, and cut out top center. Make sure all sides are even. Back and forth. You don't want to go too far down because you don't want to indent the white fondant. Boom. So now he has a white center, silver round, and then this eyeball is too small. Too big. So I'm going to cut out a circle with this. No, it's more like on his black eye. So I'm going to cut out a strip of this, actually, is what I need. And then I need another strip to go around the base of him here. If you're just joining us on Periscope, hi, I'm Jelena. If you're joining me here on YouTube, hi, I'm Jelena from More Cake. Yes, ma'am. Live, edible, badass. I think I'm saying that wrong. Yeah, badass, edible art. That's who I am and where I'm from. We're making the famous character from Star Wars, BB8, a cake topper made out of styrofoam and fondant. And the reason for the styrofoam is because it won't be so heavy during shipping and won't be heavy on the cake because I'm not making the cake. The cake's being made by someone else in a different state. So I wanted to make sure that I was mindful and courteous to that person so it won't be so heavy when they top it off. And this cake and this topper is not meant to be eaten either. I hope not. Okay. If you're watching, customer, I don't want to give out the name. I hope you like it. Because I think she may be following me on YouTube. All right, so I'm going to do a strip. I'm going to need, how many strips? I need one strip and then one around here. That's what I said, right? So I rolled out some gray, making sure that my strip is going to be good and even. I'm going to do 3 strips. So I'm pretty sure I'm going to need more than what I've already cut. Okay. We're going to first do the strip around his head, which is like here. And it goes all the way around. So I'm just going to add water all the way around. right? Starting from the front, you always want to start from the front because if you don't have enough, at least you can add to the back and they won't see that seam. Starting from the front. All the way around. Okay, let me turn this around so that way I can see if it's, you know, good and crooked. Of course it is. Alrighty, there we go. Nice. Nice. Looks good. I feel like I need to add some water under here. Good. See that? And now let me do the back. And I'm going to cut. Okay. Good thing I cut out another strip, right? There we go. Applying pressure, making sure it's holding, and cutting where the seam is. Same thing on this side. Okay. You guys see that? See that? All right. Let's put around the eyeball. I saw in a lot of pictures that there was like silver around the eyeball. Let me double check my photos. There is something, can't quite figure it out. I'm going to not add that, but I am going to add a thin layer of black instead. I think that's what I would rather add. Yeah. Let's zoom in. Oh. It's a very thin layer. So I think I need to cut a thinner layer than this strip that I have here. And put water around. And this kind of will hide your seam from the black also, because it's looking a little rough here. So I want to definitely hide that. I'm going to start at the top. And then go under it, breaking it off in the middle. We'll do the same thing here. There we go. And that's, I just put a small silver around here. And now his face, excuse me, his other eyeball has a black rim around it. So do I need any more gray before I pull it back out? Nope. 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 Don't need any more gray, so I can put this away officially until we get to the bottom part. And then we're going to use the black. Not that black. Use the black to put the rim around his eyeball. Good thing I have these circles. Literally last minute before I went live, I was like, oh, wait, I think I need circles. And I had them in the drawer. So there is a rim around his eyeball. So I'm just going to, these are too big. That is too big. I'm going to have to use this small silver one I have. So you're definitely going to need, if you're making one this size that I'm making, you're definitely going to need outreach to your own circle cutters that you may have, the back of the tips, the front of the tips. Okay. So I just use my own circle cutter, and then I'm going to use the back of the tip to get in the middle. And then I'm going to put some water. little bit of water. Really softly. There we go. I'm separating. Okay. So that's what you, hey, thanks for the hearts, guys. If you're just joining us, hi, on Periscope. So can you guys see that? I did a nice little rim around the small eyeball. Let me see if I can clean this up just a little bit to make it look a little bit more circle. Everything is circle on this guy. Okay, I think that looks pretty good. All right, so now the last orange pieces. There's an orange piece that goes around his head, and I think it goes fully around from the front here all the way around, and then there's some like little square spots all around. So we're gonna do this one first. Let me make sure that it'll go around. Yes. I think this is a little thick, so I'm gonna lay this out and cut it. We need black anymore? Not really. Lay this out and cut it with my ruler and my spatula. Helps when you have a clean area to work in. Okay. I'm gonna cut some off. And I learned this in art school. When you want to cut something off, you apply pressure to your ruler and you go straight down. Make sure you're applying pressure in the spots that you're cutting. All right? So it's a little bit. I think I'm going to cut a little bit more. That looks pretty good. Applying pressure, pressure. There we go. Nice thin strip of orange, and I'm going to add, this is always that one part. It's like the stepchild of the strip, just screws the whole thing up for the rest of them. Clean that up. There we go. No, don't ruin my strip now. Okay, so let's add some water to around our BB8. It starts here, where his eyeball is, and then it goes just around the silver part. And guys, all I'm doing is looking at a photo. That's all I'm doing. I'm looking at 2 photos, actually. I'm not going from any type of memory. It helps when you have reference photos. I wish I had my own little tiny BB8. That would probably even be better. I started from the back this time because this doesn't touch. It ends at his eyeball. Trying to make sure my circle, thin orange line is nice and even. And then I'm going to cut it here, and I'm going to cut it here. And look at him from the front. Looks pretty darn cute. I feel like the more we put on him, the more it's looking like him. Just cleaning this off. Perfect, right? Now, before I go and add these little small details, let me add, let me poke the hole in him. BB8 has like this antennas sticking out of his head, these 2 antennas. So I'm going to use a popsicle stick that I got from my Kohl's. They come in a packet. They're like $2 for like 50. So I'm going to first figure out where to place it. So there's one of them that looks like it's on this side and one of them right next. So this should be the taller one. And then this one right here should be the shorter one. So I'm gonna go and push down. That's pretty good. And then use this one and push down. That should be pretty good too. Good, so now I at least have my holes for my antenna. And then I'm gonna add my square rectangle parts to them. Let's study this picture. So in the front of him, let's add some white. No, not white, sorry. Let's add some water. Right here, and then over here. I'm making sure I at least get his front correct, because in the back, I'm just gonna wing it. They're different size rectangles and squares. So I'm just cutting different sizes. So his front has a long one on this side. Need more water to that part. There we go. And then there's a, you guys are gonna see them as I turn it, okay? Then there's a rectangle one right here. And this side is a small one. A little more water. And then a square one. And then from here, it's free for all. So this is what I'm doing. I'm just adding little squares and rectangles to the silver line down here. So I'm making sure it touches it. Do you guys see that on here on Periscope? Okay. Now I'm just adding the little ones that I cut out. We're almost done with him, guys. And then all I gotta do is his base. And hopefully that won't be too long. I might even just do his base on my own. Because it's nothing fancy schmancy. Okay. Maybe little tiny parts to them. I'm gonna add thin lines too. There's a lot of thin ones. Okay. Whew. All right, so now he has, I think the last detail on BB8 besides his red and green buttons is the little indents that he has. So I'm going to use this little guy. I'm just going to clean the tip off a little bit. So he has this little guy, and then, so these little circles, this is the Wilton tin piping tip, round piping tip. And in between each circles is 3 lines. So there's a line here. It's very complicated to put these lines like that. So we're just gonna do lines. We're gonna do 2 lines. Remember, I'm just looking for them to be similar. A little too indents. And then I'm going to use this to make little rounded holes to make it look like the screws that go on him. Can you guys see that? I don't know if you guys can see that here on Periscope. The little indent that I made with this. So it kind of looks like his screws. And then a couple more in some places. Okay. And he has one under his big eyeball, right? And then he has an indent around his big eyeball, kind of like this, but I feel like this is too big. This would be perfect, but it's running in, so we're just going to indent the top and slowly go down to the side. And then I'm going to go down to the side here, making sure I don't push on the small eyeball. And then there's a indent around here. I know it's kind of hard to see, but I'm just indenting his eye, around his eye on the white part, because that's where it looks like another separate piece. And then I'm going to go ahead and use my Dresden tool, the Wilton Dresden tool, the tiny part, and do the rest of the indentation on his face. Just referencing the photo over and over again. Over. How's that one go? So it goes under and line. It goes like that. And then there's a little, there we go. Yeah, not real noticeable unless you were here. But you guys will see it in the photos. Okay, so can you guys see that here on Periscope? Those little indents I did on his face? See that little indents I did on his face, YouTubers? See those? And that. And then the silver on top, they're like sectioned off. So I'm just making indents with that. Did you guys notice how I did all of the orange first? Then I did all the gray, went to the black, and then did the little details, right? You want to stay organized when you're doing a topper. It can be very disorganized when you're going back and forth. So I'm just going to go ahead to the gray parts on the body that I did and make just incisions in it, not incisions, indents in it with my Wilton flat tool that looks like a little bit of a knife. And I'm just winging it, right? I'm just gonna wing it. Nothing specific, just so it can look mechanic-like, right? Isn't that the goal? Almost done. Okay, and then this one. No, I forgot this actually has, excuse me, a little cutout. There we go. So we're gonna do it like that. Okay, so I think that looks pretty good. What do you guys think on Periscope? Looks good? So I'm going to go ahead and cut this in half, right? And I'm going to use wire tool cutters. So the tall one is tall, obviously. Just cut that high. Yep. And then the short one is short, obviously. We're going to need this a little more shorter. Actually, much more short. So we're going to cut a little bit off. There we go. Is that cake? No, this is a cake topper made out of styrofoam and fondant. Right? And then I'm going to add, there's like a little black on here. I'm just making sure where I cut this. Hi, Ginger. I'm going to cut this. I mean, I'm just rubbing it because where I cut it, it's kind of pointy. So I want to make sure it's nice and flat. Right? Okay. I'm going to clean my hands off because I have black ink on my hands. My bowl of water. And then I'm going to add black to him. Try to get everything out of the way so you guys can see. He has black added to the top of him, and I think there's black added to the base of him. Oh, I don't need him that short. We might have to fill this in. I dug him too deep, so let me put a little bit of fondant down there. I pushed down too deeply, so what I'm doing is I'm just putting a little bit of fondant in that hole to take care of that space, so I don't have it fall down too far. Add some water to it. There we go. There we go. This black fondant off. And then I'm going to add some water to the tip of him because there's like this tip of black or something like that. Right? There we go. Make sure it's on there good enough. And just kind of clean that up. Nice and even. Yay! I'm so excited. You don't understand how excited I am to have this topper done and complete and looking good. Who knew that this one little detail was going to aggravate me? Okay, there we go. Cute, right? Isn't that cute, guys? Isn't that cute? I think it's just so freaking cute. What was I doing? Oh, and I think the last thing I'm going to do is add some shine to this. Oh, I just noticed some more indents that I didn't before. I'm going to make, there's like lines in some places. Yes, thanks, Ginger. Yeah, I think he's so adorable. Yeah, I'm going to make his top off camera. And then that way you guys can just see, not the top, excuse me, the bottom off camera. And then you guys can, you know, add that to your topper if you want to. You don't have to. And all it is him standing on something that looks like a charger and it says Star Wars on it. Really easy, but it'd probably take like another 30 or so minutes. Okay. It's pretty cool. Okay. So yeah, so what I'm going to do is, there's this little trick where you can do vodka and corn syrup. And I know a lot of you cakers know about this, but vodka and corn syrup will shine up your fondant. And then it will dry, so that way it's not sticky anymore. So I have a clear container that we're going to put a little bit of corn syrup. Watch it on Periscope and YouTube. Oh, yay, thank you. Oh, so you're getting both views. Ah, smart. If I can open, there we go. All right, so this is just some corn syrup that I got from the store. I'm gonna put some corn syrup in here and add a little bit. Now, I got no vodka because I got some Everclear. So we're gonna try it with that, all right? So this is, fingers crossed, Hail Marys and prayers for me, please, because I hope the Everclear will have the same effect as the vodka will, which is basically thinning it out a little bit. Just put a little bit of Everclear. Everclear I got from the alcohol store. Here in Georgia, actually, our Everclear is 95% alcohol and 190 proof, which is pretty good. In Florida, it's only like 150 proof. So don't ever drink Everclear by itself. And if you're 18, if you're 21 and younger, don't drink anyways. I feel like I should say that, like a disclaimer, so people won't be like, oh, well, she put Everclear on this. No, it evaporates. It's higher. Yeah, it's definitely higher. It evaporates, so it doesn't, it's like, what's that stuff you get, peroxide? You put peroxide on your skin and then it goes away. That's what it's like. So you don't want to drink this straight up. Okay, so just mixing it and fire going down. Yeah, it's fire going down. Have you drank this before? Is that what you're saying? I heard you can definitely start a fire with it too. All right, so I got enough. I'm using a little painting sponge brush. And then I'm just going to paint over the black part. That's shiny. And I like using these sponge brushes anytime I paint because you won't get those paint strokes, when you're looking for something nice and even. I'm also going to go over, no, I'm not going to go with that part. I'm going to color that part silver. See, you guys about to make me forget that I still got to color this part silver. Okay. You see that, how that got shiny now? You guys see that? That shiny eyeball? And then we do the small eyeball. I'm just painting around the small eyeball and that black rim that's around the small eyeball. Making sure I don't have too much on there. Yeah, I've seen a lot of people make like their cakes, their BB8 cakes, which are really cute and adorable, but then they forget that the eye pops out. They do like this flat black eye, and I'm like, why would they do that? His eye pops out. He's a machine. All right, good. So now with your silver, and I think that was the container I was supposed to use, so I'm just going to use a bowl. With my silver, I'm going to put a little bit of, probably like a lot of luster dust. I'm just using silver luster dust that I purchased at a cake store in Florida. And I'm going to add some Everclear to it. Okay. And my paintbrush. Mixing this so I can have a good consistency. I don't want it too watery. And I hope this is good because this is all the silver I have. Just mixing, 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 mixing. All right, let's test this out on the top. This is what it looks like. You guys see that? It just looks like silver paint, silver metallic paint. Yep. Gives a good nice shine. Now, once I paint this, I'm going to try not to touch it so much, okay? because I want this to make sure it dries good. Paint all these parts. Trying to get a nice, good silver. See, if you would have done these silver parts in white, these silver gray fondant parts in white, you would have, it wouldn't have shown up as good. Just painting the back part of him. Be careful because it is runny. It will run down if you got too much on. And with luster dust, it's really hard to get that little shimmer out. So you want to make sure you're not using too much on it, so you don't ruin the rest of your BB8. Turning. Okay. Almost done. I want to make sure I'm getting all the spots. And last part, this is why it helps to do all the details first, because now that we've painted these parts, you don't want to mess with them. So I'm gonna let him dry, and then off camera, I'll do the bottom. And you guys will see those pictures on social media. And I can't forget the silver around his eye. I'm gonna be very careful. I'm using a cheap brush I got from Michael's. It's a thin brush. Invest in brushes. Okay, and I think I'm done, guys. I'm done. Yay, I'm done. He's all done. Now he has a little shimmer to him. You see that little shimmer? He's done. Isn't he cute? I just love him. Thank you. I love him. I appreciate you guys sticking around with me here on Periscope and here on YouTube, and seeing how I finished my BB8 topper from the start to finish. All I have to do now is add, I think, a couple of red and green buttons, but nothing too serious. He's adorable, right? Thank you. And then I'll do his base. You guys will see all those pictures. Again, I appreciate that. Now, just so you guys have some explanation of what I'm doing here, basically what I'm doing is I have a YouTube channel where it'll be a monthly subscription for $14.99, or you can purchase each individual live tutorial on your own. All that will be up live at the end of this month, where you can become a monthly subscriber, and the monthly subscribers actually get to figure out and see how I do the real hard stuff, or the real much more detailed things, such as my gravity-defying dragon back here. I have sculpted deer cakes. I have mermaids. So if you are interested, please stay tuned. I have so much more coming. And if you don't want to be a monthly subscriber, which I wish you would be, but if you don't want to, I'm giving out a lot of free content here on YouTube and on Periscope. So follow me through all my social medias. You can find all my information out in my profiles. Here on Periscope, in my profile has my YouTube account. Here on YouTube, my profile should have my Instagram and all those things. But if you don't want to look there, what's on the calendar? You can definitely check the calendar. Check my website out, right? www.morecakeym.com. www.morecakym.com. That's my Instagram at yes_ma'am_sweets. My Facebook is Facebook.com/yesmaamsweets for you guys here on Periscope. And if you check out the morecakym.com and look, there's a drop-down menu that has the More Cake schedule. You'll see things that will be up and coming of the tutorials that I'll be doing. Next to the ones that are free here on YouTube, it'll say free, and the ones that don't say free will obviously be under for this monthly subscription. So yeah, you guys keep a lookout for that. I appreciate you guys so much for joining me. I know it took longer than expected, but I was really trying to rush through it because I wanted to finish it as best I could, and I think he looks damn good because he's freaking adorable. I think he's adorable. So I appreciate that, guys. I hope you have a wonderful day. Be blessed. Check out my other one from yesterday where we did a drip cake, and so much things went wrong, I can't even tell you. But it was fun. So I appreciate you guys. Bye, YouTubers.